how to make pizza dough today. And I'm woefully unprepared, apparently. Did not know.
So we're super unprepared. We should have done this at my house.
Well, you are a chef, so you have all the fun stuff.
Yeah, I have a lot of fun stuff. But
yeah, I don't.
Like, you should call this episode "Making It Work" because
Yeah.
that's what we did.
We're making it work.
We're just making it work. This time around. But we do have a list of things that Erin needs to buy, which include a scale to weigh ingredients.
Coco! Oh my god, okay. Coco,
maybe if you put her on the couch behind
Coco,
us.
come here. Coco, come here. Come here. No, this way. Come here.
Should we start over?
No, it's fine.
Okay. And Coco has to join us.
Coco is making her...
She has the FOMO.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have a list of things that Erin needs to buy, which I feel like most people have in their kitchens, but, you know.
Okay, to be fair, you're the only person I know that has a scale.
That's not true. If I call Sarah Roshan right now, she has a scale in her kitchen.
That's fair.
I would even bet that Jenny has a scale.
That's only because she's married to Jared, not because Jenny.
You can't make excuses for everybody. I just gave you 2 examples.
I know.
I want to know, like, in the comments, like, do you have a scale in your kitchen? Is that, like, a part of your normal
that you
kitchen?
use for cooking, not other things.
Oh, we have to make a distinction. Okay, a scale.
You know, I made fun of people that had scales in their kitchens that weren't professional chefs in my last video, because I was like, who has a scale unless you're doing drugs? Apparently, it's more common.
A lot of people have a scale. My parents have a scale in their kitchen. But when you do baking, you measure things by their weight, not by their volume. Because flour can have a lot of different volumes.
I've never used a recipe that used... But I also don't bake a lot, so I'm sure if I got, like, Paul Hollywood's cookbook that I want that's like $50, it'd be like by weight.
Yeah. I just wanted like a taco cookbook that cost me $30. Maybe we'll do another video.
Ooh, we'll do tacos. That'll be fun.
But what was I saying? Scale. Yeah, so flour can have a lot of different volumes depending if it's packed or not. So, you know, have a scale.
I'm gonna get you a
I feel like since like the pandemic, everybody's staying home and taking up baking. I bet a lot of people have them.
That's true.
So she needs a Pyrex measuring cup, and then a bigger bowl. Like, this is the biggest bowl she has. I guess this one's a little bigger, but I like using really big bowls. That's okay.
To be fair, my thinking was one day I'll get married and I'll just register for everything, but now I'm 32 and have nothing.
You know, the one thing we didn't put on this list is a dough hook for your KitchenAid.
Which I do know I need. It's on my Amazon.
So we got a used KitchenAid, and I like fixed the gears on it. They're fairly easy to fix, but she only has the paddle, and I didn't think about that when I came over, or would have brought mine. You need a dough hook.
You need a dough hook. I need a whisk too if I'm ever gonna make
a whisk,
like a meringue or something,
or just whipped cream.
Whipped cream. Yeah.
Okay.
I have a hand mixer.
Well, that works.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have our flour. I wish I could say that this was like Alton Brown's recipe. That's what I use when I teach people to make pizza. Alton Brown has like the best pizza recipe. It's like the right size and everything. But since we had to convert things from like their approximate weight to an approximate volume, we're just kind of making it work here. And I think everything's going to be really close. I've made pizza a lot, so I'll be able to fix up the texture if need be.
And I'm learning, so...
Erin's learning.
It's all good.
It's really fun to be the expert in this video, because last time she was showing me how to do my eye makeup, which I'm still not wearing because I'm, you know, practice makes perfect.
Which, do you want to tell, next time we're going to do a look inspired by Wicked.
Oh, Broadway Across America is finally like coming back to Houston. I'm so excited. Their first show is going to be Wicked this summer, which I've seen, but I'm super excited to see again. So I want to do like a little black dress and then like crazy green eye makeup. Okay. So first step, and this is something I always do, is not necessarily a part of Alton's recipe, is I like to go ahead and bloom my yeast, because my yeast, depending on like the type of yeast you buy, the temperature in your apartment, the humidity, we're in Texas, yeast kind of like wakes up and acts in different ways. So even if you have like instant or quick or you know, whatever, if you have live, if you grew it yourself, I know a lot of people started growing their own yeast in the pandemic.
I'm sorry, you can do what?
Yeah, you can grow, it's like, it's kind of like funny because they call it catching like wild yeast. So you take like one way, there's a ton of ways, but one way is like you take an apple peel and a little water and you like set it out for a day or so, and wild yeast will start to grow. Then you add a little flour and it eats up, and then you make a poolish, and it's a like a dough starter, and you have your own yeast. So it was really funny in the pandemic when they're like, I can't find yeast anywhere. Everybody's out of yeast. You're never out of yeast. It's everywhere.
I feel like this is like survivalist.
Yes.
Skill.
It's also why you never want to get like your flour damp, because it'll like start growing yeast and grow.
Okay.
It'll like grow its own starter.
That's interesting. Okay.
So when we wake up our yeast, what we're gonna do is we're gonna use warm water. If you have a metal bowl, go ahead and run like warm water in your bowl, because yeast doesn't like the cold. It won't get up and get out of bed for the cold. So warm water, just like if you were making a baby bottle, on the wrist. It should be warm to the touch. Some really advanced recipes will tell you the exact temperature to make your water. I'm not that fancy. I don't think Alton tells us either.
I only have like a health thermometer, so I don't have a cooking thermometer either. She's questioning our friendship.
Can we put that on our list? Thermometer.
I had an ex that was cooking at my house one day when I was in that Heights apartment, and he goes, Erin, where's your trivet? And I was like, what's a trivet? And he goes, wait, you put hot pans on? I was like, oh, I just use a dish rag.
Well, that one's fine.
And then I got like a 20-minute lecture about why you should use a trivet.
I do have a trivet though. My grandma made it. So it's like a little heirloom. It's really cute.
That's cute.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get some hot water out of the sink. I actually waited to get our hot water until this moment because I wanted it to be warm.
My sink's over there. This is my breakfast area while she's doing that. So this was my holiday Christmas project me and my dad built, / my dad built it and I just kind of stood here and handed him tools. But there's a bench that has storage and that's what Coco is sitting on. And then this is the wood flooring I have in my house, and I had a couple boxes left over, so I just did a wood wall. So that's what it is. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know you were supposed to wake up yeast.
Well, technically, you know, if you have a fast-acting yeast, you don't have to wake it up. Like, it's gonna wake it up, but it's in like a dormant state right now.
Okay.
So it's dried up, it's not gonna grow. I got a little under 2 cups of water. Here's our yeast. So yeast is, think of it like a person. It wants to be warm, it wants water, and it wants to be fed.
It wants coffee.
So it's the right temperature. Coffee's too hot.
Well, no, like I want coffee in the morning.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I walk Coco and I literally have like her leash in one hand and coffee and keys in the other hand. And I'm just like,
instead of coffee, we're gonna give it sugar. So sugar is gonna be its food.
okay.
So when you're like catching yeast or growing yeast, you can use the apple peel, the sugar in it.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Okay, so I got our yeast, which I use about a package of yeast. I buy yeast by the jar because that's how I like to do it. A package of yeast is 2 teaspoons and 1/4 teaspoon. You can also find that in grams. I don't know that off the top of my head.
Oh, that's crazy. I can smell it.
Yes, so it smells like...
I don't have COVID. Yay!
I'm going to go ahead and...
I wasn't worried about that. That's why.
You just give it a little stir. You don't actually have to like mix it. Now it's all stuck to my spoon. That's fine. And we're going to give it 10 minutes. We might take a pause to like wake up and grow. And we'll probably throw a picture up on what it looks like now and what it looks like when it's all grown.
Yeah.
Do be careful, not too hot water. Hot water will kill your yeast, and then it will never wake up.
Okay, gotcha.
So warm water, not blazing hot water, which I don't think you'll ever have the problem because your sink doesn't get very hot.
No.
I think it's got a water saver on there.
It does.
It's kind of hard.
Yeah.
So when it wakes, you're gonna see it's gonna start to like be a little foamy, and this foaminess is going to grow. So I'm gonna pause. We're gonna take a picture, and we're gonna take another picture in 10 minutes, and we're gonna throw it up there. We're back.
We're back. Okay.
And our yeast is bloomed. So admission time. Because I was looking at the camera and not at what I was doing, I threw the salt in there, and not the sugar. But I fixed it. We redid it real quick. If you're, we got ours all like separated out, ready to go. If you're looking at like salt and sugar right next to each other, salt will reflect light, but like sugar will shimmer. Like it will reflect like colors. It's like
looks sparkly.
Diamonds and plastic. Like it looks sparkly. And I wasn't looking at it. It was on the other side of the bowl, so I threw the wrong thing in there. But we fixed it. Salt will actually, like kill yeast. You don't want it to have like direct contact with yeast if you're blooming. So
I didn't know that.
We redid it. Yeah, salt kills a lot of things.
I learned something new.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, so there's our bloomed yeast.
Got our water and yeast.
We're gonna add our sugar. We're not gonna add our sugar. We're gonna add our flour, and then we're gonna add our salt last.
Okay.
Okay. If you're using a KitchenAid, this makes that in process like it's so easy. If you're gonna put salt, sugar, and yeast in at the same time, put like the salt and the yeast on different sides of the bowl so that they don't have direct contact.
Okay. Oh, okay. That makes sense.
But we just washed our hands in preparation for this, so we are going to be hand kneading today, which should be like so fun. I haven't really done that since culinary school because I've always had a KitchenAid.
I haven't done it since I made the sweet potato gnocchi last week.
Did you knead it?
I kneaded it a little bit, yeah.
Oh, look at you.
Because it was like don't overmix, so I mixed it with my hands and then I just kind of like got in and kneaded it a little bit.
So I'm actually going to add my flour to my blooming mixture here.
So Coco, you're okay. So you're going to do dry into wet instead of wet into dry?
Yes. And in a KitchenAid that might be different, but I don't want to.
She's very ferocious.
It was the dryer. Coco. Cool. Okay. Mostly I don't want to waste my yeast. So if I pour my yeast into this bowl, it's going to stick on the side of the bowl.
Okay.
And we don't have, it's just kind of a pain to make sure you're not wasting any of it.
Gotcha.
So the dry stuff, and I'm probably going to end up using this glass bowl because it's bigger.
Yeah.
But we're going to go this way first. And I don't immediately use all of my flour.
Okay, so you put it in like parts.
Yes. And I actually might not, even if we knew we had like exactly the right amount, which we're, somewhere in that zone because,
we're close-ish.
We didn't measure like we should have. No scale. I still might not use some of that flour because I'm going to look at the texture of the dough. I don't want my dough too dry. If my dough is too dry, I'm not going to get a crispy pizza. It's actually a wetter dough that will give you a crispier pizza. But you definitely want it to have structure and hold together. I'm going to use most of this for sure, but I'm going to leave a little just in case I don't use it. So we're going to get that mixing. And I'm going to have to take it out of this bowl to knead.
Oh, it comes together pretty quick.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm honestly probably going to give up on this wooden spoon and use my hand fairly quickly. Yeah, we're probably not going to use the rest of that flour.
Yeah, I'll get a dough hook soon. Next payday.
I'll put that over there.
I got this at Marshall's. I bet Marshall's has one.
I was kind of surprised that she had one, but
I got it at Marshall's. I was like, that's cute, so I bought it.
You bought it because it was cute, not because you thought you would use it? Do you want to answer that question?
No, I do not.
Okay.
I figured I would probably use it at some point in my life.
Okay, so I'm going to get this out of here. I'm going to use my hand. Dough's weird. I mean, it's really hard to describe how you mess with dough. I'm sure actual bakers could tell you exactly. I'm kind of like,
hey, if we knew a pastry chef, I'd be like, you can come too on this. on
I
the
even
YouTube
tell my
channel.
students, like, I don't do pastry. I'm not a pastry chef, but I can do a little. Everybody should be, like, if you're a chef, you should be able to do a little. And I can do a little, but definitely not going to make as good as bread or pastries as, like,
Well, I know
a legit person that does it all day.
you don't watch Top Chef, but I love Top Chef, and I watch it all the time. But, like, it's so, what you said about, like, needing to know a little bit because you are a chef and you should be able to do it, you know, to some extent.
I don't know how they do that without Googling something.
But there's some people that come in and they're like, I don't know, I don't do desserts. So then they just make, like, a fruit bowl, and the judges are like, no. Like, you have to make a dessert.
I feel like, not that I would be very good at Top Chef, but I feel like I could figure things out even if I didn't know what I was doing.
I think you would surprise yourself. I think you would do well.
But, oh, we need our sugar. You need our salt for
Salt.
flavor.
It's salt.
So salt is going to give you flavor. Salt is a flavor enhancer, okay? So without salt, things are going to taste very muted, okay? So if you don't ever use salt in your food, you're used to that. You know, you're going to be used to picking up, not picking up, or, you know, that's what you're used to. So like a little salt, you'll taste a lot. If you use salt all the time, you'll need it, but you should just use salt appropriately.
I went to college with a dude, and he was obsessed with salt. To the point, I was like, you need to go to the doctor, because there's might be something like electrolytes, something off with you. Because he would literally get his own, we would go to Chili's, because I went to school in Nacogdoches, and like Chili's was a nice restaurant in town. Ooh!
So this is our dough.
It's dough.
I was using my hand to knead this, and I'm actually going to show you.
How many?
Oh, wait. One more thing. We have our salt. We need our olive oil. Olive oil and pizza dough is what's going to give you kind of your distinctive pizza dough flavor. So you need about a tablespoon.
You're just going to kind of eyeball
And
it.
since we're already guessing on everything anyways, I'm just going to eyeball it. Yes, but you want it to be olive oil, so you get that flavor. Yeah, everybody loves olive oil, right?
Yes. But yeah, this dude would literally get his own salsa and just pour salt into it. To the point where one time a waiter was like steering, like, please, what are you doing? And I was like, no, that's how he eats it. Like, he will eat this after he does it. It was the weirdest thing.
So I don't know, I'm going to show you how I'm kneading this by hand, and this little bowl is not really helping me. So if you see, there's my dough. What I'm doing is I'm taking the edge of it, I'm folding it in, and I'm pressing down with the palm of my hand, and I'm going around. I'm just going around. You'll see me moving the dough, and I'm kneading, and I'm just developing the gluten and the proteins in the gluten. And I'm creating these strands. This is happening by friction, by heat, by the movement.
Because gluten is the one that makes it sticky, right? Like, the more you develop the gluten, the stickier it gets.
Yes, and those they form longer strands,
Okay.
which is why, you know, bread has the distinctive texture that it does. That's why it's different than cake.
Okay.
So different kinds of flours make this easier. You can buy bread flour, and it has a high, gluten content. Cake flour would have a low one.
Oh, okay.
But regular flour kind of works for everything, unless you're
Because that's what we're
a
using.
professional. Yeah.
We're using HEB brand all-purpose flour.
So I had to teach advanced pastry this year, which I think is really funny. And I've literally had to go get
Special flour.
like special flour.
Yeah.
Like cake flour for making cakes, because all my cakes were just so dense. I couldn't build torts or anything with them. And then all my breads were just not growing like I wanted them to. So, or like I knew they should.
Yeah.
So I broke down and I bought like specialty flour, and it all works so much better. But for home this works fine.
Yeah, I love the Great British Bake Off because they talk it so proper. They're like the gluten and it develops and you're like, oh, tell me more about the gluten. That's the only reason I did that.
I'm getting good texture here, and it actually might take me a while of kneading. If you're using a KitchenAid and you're using a dough hook to knead, it's about 10 minutes.
Which, to be fair, I had a dough hook, except I got the 3-quart one and not the 5-quart one because I didn't realize it said it was a 5-quart. To be fair, the Amazon one, I returned it, got a refund because I was like, your description's wrong. Like, so I got these and I was like, these are little baby ones, and I have like a giant KitchenAid. Like, my mom was kind of jealous because we got her the 3-quart, and I was like, yeah, Kylie like fixed a 5-quart for me, and she's like,
honestly,
oh.
you should probably trade her because she'll use the 5-quart and you would have an easier time.
She doesn't cook anymore. I mean, she loves it. Like, when she uses it, but like, it's really not that often. Sorry, Mom, I love you so much.
So you're gonna notice that your dough is kind of rough looking, and what I'm looking for here is I want a smooth.
It looks sticky.
It is sticky, which is good. I want it sticky.
Yeah.
But I want it to get into a smooth texture, and that could take a little bit of kneading. So you know.
I mean, you can always give it to me, and I can try to knead instead of just drinking.
You can knead.
I can cook.
Okay. Erin's gonna knead.
You're supposed to be teaching me, so I'm learning. I can learn by.
You were teaching me my eyes, but you did the eyes.
Well, that's
okay.
But we'll do a tutorial where you do it and I just like watch you do it creepily.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. I'm just like, okay, and then put it, and then it's fine.
So one thing with why it's not sticking to my hand anymore, those glutens are developing, even though we still have a rough texture. So they're sticking together and not sticking on me.
So that's why when things are undermixed, if it's like sticking to you.
Yeah,
for
sure.
Okay.
You'll also notice in the bowl,
it's not really
the
sticking
bottom
to
of
the sides.
bowl,
Yeah.
the bottom of the bowl where I've been kneading against, it's all sticking to my dough. Now the top of the bowl where I haven't been touching very much, that's not, the stuff that was stuck there, it's fine, it's just a little loss. It's not developing gluten, so it's not, it's still there. I'm not using it. So here you go.
Okay.
Fingers in under,
fold.
over, use your palm to press it down.
Over, palm. Okay.
So one thing with kneading, or at least this stage of kneading, is I don't want to like shove my fingers into it and make kind of like this mess of like it's stuck on my fingers, it's not really aiming together. You want to treat your dough like a whole entity. So we're just, folding that entity and, making that friction happen. I feel like you're gonna have to do like a fast forward moment in this video.
Probably. That's fine. I use Clip Champs. They don't sponsor me or anything because I have 6 followers, or 6 subscribers. But that's what I use, so that's an option.
Oh, I also added to your list. I don't think this is something people like normally have in their home, but it's super cheap. Like if you actually see one. So it's a dough scraper. It's a little plastic rectangle that's curved.
Oh, I know what that is.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It makes moving dough around super easy because it bends. You can scrape your bowl and it like takes it all off.
Hannah Brad Talk has one.
Oh yeah. So it's a really nice tool to have, and they're so cheap. Like I think at A-Smart they're $1.
Oh, that's not bad. Okay.
I'm sure they sell them other places like Walmart, but I love shopping at A-Smart.
I like A-Smart, but like I thought it was kind of like Restaurant Depot where everything was way cheaper, and it's really not.
No, it's not.
It's
cheaper
still expensive
at A-Smart. I like having the same things that I work with in my kitchen at home, so things look the same.
That's fair.
But that doesn't necessarily mean they're cheaper. I mean, I'll look them up on Amazon, and they might be a little cheaper on Amazon. But that's definitely where I buy everything for my kitchen at work. So it's getting smoother. Do you see it's getting smoother?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, it was like, is this good? Because the texture is getting, pretty good, yeah.
Okay. I think we can stop soon.
You just tell me when. I mean,
I'm looking. My hands aren't in it, so usually I'm like, yeah, we're good. No, I think it needs a little longer.
yeah.
So we want to make sure it has that like stretchy texture, and
Which it kind of is like.
So what we're kind of looking for here is if you take a little bit of it and you make like a window pane, you should be able to see light through it.
Okay. They do that on.
You don't want it to rip.
which it just did.
Which it
so
just did,
it's
but
not
it's
ready.
really close.
Okay. They do that. There was one challenge, or there's been several challenges on the Great British Bake Off.
You know, we measured wrong because there was so much extra flour. Like, so much.
But the pizza's gonna be good. But yeah, they had to make phyllo dough by hand. They couldn't use pre. Yeah. And so they're all just like, it's not thin enough, and you see them just like.
Phyllo dough is crazy. I went to the Culinary Institute, Lenote, and there was a lady there. She was head of the custodians, and she made her own phyllo dough. And sometimes she would like bring it up, and we would make the filling, or she would make it. It wasn't always us, but she made her phyllo dough by hand, and I've never tasted like
better
crustier, flakier phyllo dough. Like,
what do you use phyllo dough for?
So like phyllo dough is baklava.
Okay.
And you can use it for other things, but the most widely known is probably baklava, which I love baklava. In Houston, you can go to that Phoenician market.
Yes.
Phoenicia. They have awesome baklava in like different styles.
There's a vendor, and they did it this year, which I was kind of surprised about. But every year, the company I work for, this vendor goes to that Venetian market and gets a whole pastry box of baklavas. Like, and it's so good.
Before, like when there was Miller Outdoor Theater, and they would do the outdoor shows.
Oh yeah.
Me and my mother would go to the Phoenicia, and we would buy like sandwiches and wine and dessert, and then we would take it in our little picnic baskets and watch the outdoor shows, and it was so fun. They weren't necessarily close, like together in terms of, but we always made a day of it. So.
Well, yeah. Okay.
So there we go.
What do you think now?
I think we're there. I think we're there. It's smooth. It's not super smooth, but we're making pizza at home. I can see.
You can see it's still kind of tearing. But you definitely can like feel the difference. Once I got my hands on it, I could feel it from when I took it. Like Kylie started it and is the professional, but I could feel a difference. And I'm a home cook.
And like I was saying, it takes 10 minutes on the KitchenAid. So imagine how long it's gonna take by hand.
This is definitely not a carpal tunnel thing.
And we might have been going a little slow.
Oh, okay.
We're talking friction and movement, so it's gotta do those things, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely getting stickier.
Smoother?
Smoother.
Okay. I think we're there.
Yay! Okay.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna leave it in this bowl and it's gonna proof. We're gonna leave it.
And what does proofing mean?
So proofing is basically we're resting it. So it's been working out. So all of those protein strands are like super tight. And we want them to kind of relax.
Yes.
So that when we roll it out and we bake it, it's not a tough dough. But one thing we don't want to happen while it's proofing is we don't want it to dry out. So I'm gonna take a little of this olive oil. More olive oil.
Again,
on the bottom.
HEB brand.
Okay. In the bowl, you don't want it all crazy. I'm gonna do. I tell my students the octopus. So you're gonna take your fingers. This is our pretty side. That's the bottom, and we're gonna roll it until we got like a mushroom or a jellyfish top. It's gonna be nice and smoother. You see?
Yeah.
Okay, and you see that the ugly underside?
Yeah.
We're gonna pinch it, just so it doesn't move. Nice and closed. I got oil. I'm actually gonna take the top and roll it in that oil, but I'm gonna put it right side up. So it looks like that. I'm gonna put a wet towel, a warm wet towel, because yeast grows with warmth. That's another thing. The yeast is gonna continue to grow.
So you don't put this in the fridge?
Only if you're gonna eat it tomorrow.
Okay, but we're eating it today, so.
So with my students, we only have like an hour and a half together, maybe a little bit more. It's not quite enough time to go through the whole process, teaching and like doing everything. So we will actually, at this point, we would put it in the fridge.
Okay.
With plastic wrap.
Because it would be the next day you're gonna cook
Yes.
it.
So it would still grow. It would still grow, but it would do it much slower.
Okay.
We're not gonna do that. Warm towel over top. We're gonna make a nice humid environment for it.
Is that why I have haven't posted it yet, but my next video before this is going to be chicken fajitas where I make homemade tortillas and street corn. But I let it rest in the fridge. That was probably my big mistake, right? Because they did not come out good.
So when you let it rest,
it's definitely a cooking fail.
Okay, I'll address that actually.
It was definitely cooking. I burnt myself in the video, so that was funny.
Sometimes you would want to like let rest in the fridge. Like if we were making chocolate chip cookies, in the fridge would be a good thing because of the ingredients in them. Now, when we're doing breads with yeast and things, I don't want it to slow its growth.
Okay.
And it's also going to become very firm. So even with my students, when we do an overnight, when we grow overnight or we proof overnight, I will actually pull all their dough out, which is like 6 bowls or so, about an hour before their class starts to let them warm closer to room temperature.
Okay, so that's where if you watch my last video where I make the tortillas and I pull it out of the fridge, I'm like, let's make tortillas. That was my big mistake because I was like, why isn't this working?
Did you make corn or flour tortillas?
I made flour.
They were really cold.
Yeah, I got because the last like 5 or 6 were really good, but I had also
they'd warmed up
and I had started rolling them out, so that makes a lot of sense.
So here's our towel. It had warm water. I wrung it out over the top of the bowl.
So is this like kind of why my aunt, when she makes yeast rolls at Thanksgiving, she puts them on the dryer?
Yes, that's exactly.
It's like a southern trait. She puts a little towels in and warms them up
on the dryer. So what I'm doing is I'm making a warm, humid environment here, which the yeast in the dough is really gonna like. So another way you can do that is like on top of the stove, so it's not too hot. On top of the dryer, which is
she does she'll put towels in, turns it on, and she runs it for like an hour and a half, and she puts her yeast rolls on, and if you go in that laundry room, you get your...
So she's pretty much made her own proofer there. We're not proofing like that right now, but that would definitely like speed up the process. I have this awesome Breville tabletop oven that proofs.
I love it. I looked it up and I was like, oh, that's expensive.
My husband gave it to me for graduating my teaching certificate program.
Aww.
And I love it. Like, I never use my regular oven because it's like this big. Like, for the 2 of us, that's all the cooking space you really need. And it warms up so fast, and it has like, it does proofing and air frying and all this stuff. And Alton Brown actually has it on a list of like
his stuff he
loves. I go a little crazy. Like, I have most of the things on his list, which I know he has more than one.
Maybe one day if I can... Oh, Cocoa Bear. Maybe one day if this starts being popular, I can get like... I think I could get
Monica... It would look good on the table.
I could get Monica Pope, probably, because I know her, like, in passing.
Do the makeup? Is she a makeup lady?
I don't think so, but I could probably get her to like come and like teach us how to cook something.
Oh, okay.
So I'm from Houston. We're from Houston. And there's a rep group that I'm an interior designer. So there's a rep group. Top Chef Master Contestant Monica Pope is from Houston, so she's cooked several dinners that this rep group has done because the owner knows her personally, and so I've like met her a couple times and like, I loved your season, and we're like just fangirl, and I'm like, your food's so good, bye. Like, I'm so weird.
No, that'd be cool. And honestly, like, I'm not a baker, so like this is my understanding of dough. Like, this is almost as complicated as I get. Like, I go a little bit further. I can do danishes.
Which we will do when we have the time, but apparently it's very in-depth.
Yeah, we were talking about doing that. That's definitely a my house thing.
Because it's very in-depth. Like,
and
you were telling me about it, I was like, that's like
an all-day or 2-day, like, endeavor.
Yeah. Which is fine, we can do that. Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, and I love danishes. Yeah. I love almond croissants.
Oh, who doesn't? Okay, we're gonna let this proof, and then we'll be back to top it.
Okay, we're back.
We're back.
We're back with washed hands. So our dough has been proofing. It is almost doubled in size.
Yeah, it's gotten really big.
So what we're gonna do now, and I can't even say we're doing Alton Brown's recipe anymore.
It's a variant.
It's so bastardized. bastardized at this point. Like inspired by,
Loosely based
on. His recipe actually
It's
chills
okay.
in the fridge for about 18 hours. We're doing 2 proofing sessions instead. It's gonna work. It's gonna work.
Kylie's a very well-trained chef, so
Okay.
you would know.
This would be where a dough scraper would be nice, because getting dough out of a pan after it's been proofing, dough scraper works really well. What we're gonna do is we're gonna portion this. So we can get probably 2 of the size pizzas I want out of here.
Which we're doing personal, like
A little bit bigger than personal.
10-inch.
Like a Kylie personal size.
Yeah.
12, whatever. Whatever that lodge pan is what we're gonna use.
I have 10-inch lodge pans, so if that gives you any indication.
So we're gonna go into our second proofing, but first we're gonna do a punch down. Okay, so what we're gonna do is
I don't know what that is.
punch it. It's called a punch down, okay? So
Okay.
basically the yeast has been growing.
Yeah.
It's been eating all the sugar, it's been drinking all the water,
Okay.
and now it's been farting.
Oh my god.
That's what I always tell my students. Okay, so there's a lot of air in this dough. And
Okay.
we want that. We want that air. That's how bread works.
Okay.
But we're still proofing.
Oh, is that why you get the bubbles
Yes.
in the
yes.
texture of the bread?
It's
Okay.
yeast farts.
I don't eat a lot of bread, but now I can't eat bread without being like, look, a yeast fart.
So what happens when there's too much of that space in there is these bubbles will actually burst
It's
in your bread, and your bread will flatten.
It's escaped gas.
Of the yeast?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. If that makes you feel better.
Okay. I mean, scientifically.
Sure. I mean, yeast is a living thing, so it's gonna eat and it's gonna
Yeah.
do all the other stuff.
I took a science class like 10 years ago. It's fine.
If you don't get rid of the excess air before you do, your next proofing or whatever, however long your proofing is for whatever kind of bread, those bubbles will actually burst. And when they burst, your bread will flatten and it will have no air, and it's very sad. I'm not quite sure how you recover from that because I've never had to. So a punch down is we're literally punching the dough down and controlling how much air is in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it out onto this clean table, which we cleaned. And it comes out really nicely because we oiled the bowl. And the way I'm going to do this punch down, you can actually do it inside the bowl.
Okay.
It's just easier to see outside the bowl. So the bottom is now on top. Okay, so I'm going to take the middle and I'm
Okay, so you're literally just
I'm making, I'm going to punch it a little bit. I'm not going to punch it hard, but I'm going to press down in the middle and kind of flatten some of that
So
air
like
out.
my aunt's yeast rolls that she would put on the dryer, when my dad would come by and like stick his finger in,
So to stick your finger in, you could be doing a couple of things. You could be checking the elasticity or the texture of the
no, my dad would do it so that they would all fall.
So that they would, oh yes, then that's a
Yeah.
punch down.
Okay.
Pretty much.
My dad would do that to my aunt's yeast rolls.
Whatever
Yeah.
you guys, call that. So I'm going to actually do 4 sides and I'm going to fold them in. I only punched down the middle, so there's still air there. I didn't flatten it out.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so
it'll still be a fluffy crust.
Still going to be fluffy.
Okay.
We're still growing
Okay.
the yeast. So I'm going to grab the top, I'm going to stretch up towards that middle where I punched it, and I'm going to tuck it in there.
So this
Yeah.
doesn't kill the yeast, it just makes it to where it's not
It's just releasing some
releasing
of
the
those
gases.
gases.
Okay.
Because we
Cool.
don't want those bubbles to pop uncontrolled.
Okay.
We want a certain texture in our pizza or in our whatever bread you're making.
So is that why when you get some pizzas, they have like a really big, harsh bubble?
Places are going to have different ways they make their pizzas. Like, pizza is it has so much character depending on where you're eating.
Well, we're from
New York,
Houston, we
Chicago,
really don't have.
Houston.
Houston doesn't have like a good pizza culture.
I don't know. I feel like we have a hotbed of mesh. Like, any kind of pizza you want, we could find.
We have good pizza places, but they're not like as much as like Chicago
There's not
or
like
New York.
Houston style pizza
Yeah.
that I know of. Okay, so I'm
Like
stretching
cocoa
the
beer.
4 sides, pulling them in.
Coco says hi.
Okay,
Okay.
and this is our bread after the punch down. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna make 2 pizzas from this dough. If I had a dough scraper, this would be really nice to take that dough scraper and just do that in half. I'm going to use this knife and try not to cut into your table.
That's okay. If
And
you
we're just
ever
gonna
watch
get to me.
Hannah Bread Talk, she has a dough scraper. Coco, you're fine. We spent the whole time this was proofing. We sat there and cuddled and like petted Coco.
Okay. Now you remember that octopus from earlier?
Yes.
Okay, you're going to take this one. Okay. Here's a tip. Your dough is always going to have a pretty side. This is what was up when it was proofing. It's nice and
Pretty
smooth.
side.
It was the top of the octopus or the mushroom or whatever we called it. So that side up,
Side up.
fingers in the middle of the bottom,
Roll bottom.
and you want to stretch the top. So you're creating a smoother top jellyfish or mushroom. I'm using, the phrases I use on my student. Not too much.
Oh, okay. I was doing a
Because
lot.
we actually don't want to get rid of all of that nice air that we
Okay.
created until you have a nice smooth top, and you take the bottom and you pinch it.
Okay.
Pinch the bottom. Okay, you have that bowl. I have this one. I'm actually going to get some oil in my bowl. I think you have plenty of oil in yours.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so we're going to have 2 pizzas. I'm going to get some oil on top.
Okay, so just rub it
But
around.
ultimately, I'm going to put that pretty side up. Okay. Here we go. Now we have 2 pizza doughs, and they're going to proof for another 20 minutes or so. They're going to probably, grow in size again. I would love to say, some people look for double in size. Some people look for different things depending on what they're looking at. I'm going to look for texture. I want it very elastic, very soft, and still really moist, because I want that moist pizza to make a really crispy crust, because that's what I'm into. Alright, so we're going to put a towel, or we're going to share a towel, the towel that we were using. We actually put ours on top of the oven because we preheated our oven, so it was a little warmer up there than over here, and we'll see you when we get back.
Yes. Okay.
So we are back.
We're back.
With our dough, which has expanded. So
Very
this
much.
was on top of a warm oven, so it definitely,
Mine has
we're
a
making 2
bubble.
pizzas. I really think this could have made like 3 thinner crust pizzas.
Probably.
But Erin doesn't have a pizza pan.
I do not.
So we're going to use cast iron skillets. So these are going to be a little bit thicker dished. And we went ahead and we warmed up those cast iron skillets in the oven. So maybe this is more Chicago-inspired pizza.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Sure.
Why not?
So they're going to be a little thicker crust, which I love the crust. I'm a big bread person.
I like thick crust, so I'm okay with it.
It works for me. We're going to need to put pizza pan on your list, though.
Yes.
This list is growing.
And Kai was like, okay, get your pizza pan. And I was like, I have a cast iron. She was like, that.
Okay.
Yeah, she's just like, okay.
So my only thing with using like a regular pan is a pizza pan is going to have holes on the bottom so that you have that, crispy pizza bottom throughout the whole pan. So a regular pan won't do that. I went ahead and warmed up a cast iron so we could do a thicker crust, and it would actually cook from the bottom, and be really yummy.
I love a good cast
Oh,
iron.
listen to those flying.
Oh my gosh.
I caught them. It's okay. We just washed our hands.
So we're actually making 2 different, because we're going to make 2 different pizzas. So we're making 2 different toppings. The first is the one I'm making. It is a pesto, which I made pre-made pesto, or I bought pre-made pesto because we're not making it because it's already like a long process to make your own pizza dough.
Yes.
But Kylie knows how to make her own pesto, so maybe one
It's
day.
not that hard.
Prosciutto, goat cheese, and garlic is mine.
You made that confit garlic.
And I made the confit garlic. It's from the Christy Teigen Cravings cookbook. So it keeps for about a week or 2, which is really nice. And so the confit garlic, basically you just slowly cook it in olive oil and it gets really soft. And then you can spread it. So we're going to spread this oil and the garlic on the pizza.
So confit means cooked in oil.
Oh yeah, confit garlic. Yeah.
So So I'm gonna go ahead and make a more traditional pizza. Erin got this vodka sauce, which is like a red sauce.
Again, we're not making our own because like the video would be so
This is more about the dough.
Yeah.
I have mozzarella, pepperoni. I'm gonna go ahead and brush my pizza dough with that garlic confit because I love garlic. I'm from the South, so that's
Who doesn't? I find it fascinating on cooking shows and we're like, and I don't like garlic. And I'm like,
who doesn't like garlic?
what?
I can never use just one clove though. I use like many. Okay.
For the longest time, I thought one clove was like one head.
The whole thing.
The whole thing. So I would peel the whole thing and be like, yeah, that's one clove. And because I thought the head was a clove, and really the clove is an individual piece off the head.
So I'm gonna roll mine out, and while I'm talking mine, I think you can roll yours out because we only have one rolling pin. To be fair, I only have one rolling pin in my house, so I'm not gonna.
I'll watch
for
you.
that.
It's okay.
We are. So before we were really conscious not to make our dough too dry, we have this nice moist dough.
It looks really good.
It looks really good.
So.
Now we're going to be rolling it out. I want to make sure it does not stick to the table or whatever rolling surface I'm rolling on. I'm only going to roll out my dough on this surface. You want to build your pizza on whatever you're going to cook it in. So that means those cast irons that we're using are going to come over here. Hopefully we don't melt Erin's table.
I have trivets.
Put some trivets or towels down.
But
you want to go ahead, before you put sauce and things on, you want to build that on whatever you're going to cook it in. So if that's cast iron, we'll build it on the cast iron. If it's a pizza tray, we're going to build it on the pizza tray. If you have an amazing stone oven pizza like I do at work, you're going to build it on a pizza pile, which is like a big wooden spatula that you like throw in there.
It's called a pile?
It's called a pile.
I thought it was just like a scooper.
I mean,
I was like always
that's
like
its traditional
the
name is
pizza
the
scooper. Pizza
that
pile.
big paddle.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
So you like throw it in. You would need cornmeal for that, so it would like slide. But we're not doing that.
I have
It is a lot of fun though. I mean, if you like it.
I don't, but I'm just saying, like, I have cornmeal.
We don't really
need
need cornmeal.
cornbread.
We don't really need cornmeal for this. So I'm gonna get some flour. We got some fresh flour. I'm gonna get that down. I don't want to dry out my dough, but I definitely want to have enough flour that it's not gonna stick to my table. If my flour sticks to my table, I'm gonna mess up a lot of the things I've accomplished so far.
That's fair.
Which seems really sad.
I'm gonna watch you, and then I'll repeat.
Yeah.
Like,
if you had your dough cutter, you could use that to get your dough out nicely. But what I like to do is just kind of scrape it out to where it flips out. One little piece. It's really moist. I love that. I'm gonna put some flour on top. Because it is really wet because obviously we've been covering it in olive oil, right? So not like a ton, we don't want to dry it out, but we do not want it to stick. And I'm going to lightly pat it into a circle. Going around from the middle out.
do you want to hear a funny story?
What's that?
When Sarah and Brian, our friends, started trying to make their own pizza dough, I was dating a guy who was like, his dad's side of the family was like old school Italian from Sicily. So he's like, I can make it. And so he got in there, like we were over one night, and he's like trying to like toss their pizza dough.
I can do that.
And I took a video and it was so bad. Like he
Okay.
could not do it. It was so funny.
For small pizza doughs, you don't really need to toss them. But I know how. Like, I know the technique. Maybe I'll like even do it for y'all.
No, it was just so funny. He's like, I'm Sicilian on my dad's side. And then we're all just like, please stop. Please stop.
So we had a nice circle.
Yeah.
Remember, it was like a nice ball. You're messing up my nice circle.
I messed it up. I'm sorry.
So flour on top, and you're just
Yeah.
gonna like treat it gently. It's like a, you know, like a friend.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Treat it gently. You don't want to like stick your fingers in it and mess up the shape too much. We've done a lot to make pretty, a pretty dough here. We're gonna keep it. So if you You don't need to toss your pizza. You really don't. But if you want to, the technique for why they do that, okay, is if you see my fist under here. What it's doing is it's stretching the pizza over my fist, and it's creating this, a thicker part here and thinner in the middle. So that's your crust. So you can actually use 2 fists to stretch out your pizza. Okay. So now you got that thinner part in the middle. So what would speed up this process is to actually fling it into the air while it is spinning, and that spinning motion would stretch out the pizza. It's going to be thinner in the middle because of what you're doing with your fist, and thicker on the ends because it's obviously on the inside here. Now, I'm sure there's better explanations for that for people that really do it. That's the best one I got, but I'm going to show you a little flip here.
Oh my gosh! I am not going to try that.
So that will literally stretch out, if you flip it enough times, it will literally stretch out your pizza. Now, we're not making that big pizzas. I think mine here is, I'm going to get like a little bigger. I might flip it one more time. As I fling flour all over my face.
I'm so impressed.
That's my pizza, okay? So that's the size. It's a little bit bigger. Like I said, we could have made 3 pizzas here. I'm just doing a little bit bigger pizza because we're doing it in a cast iron instead of a pizza pan. You can use a roller. Erin's doing pretty good, just like patting.
It's my first time.
Don't be scared. Don't be worried if it's not like a perfect circle. It's gonna be okay.
Mine's oblong. Kylie's is like a perfect circle.
We can fix it. One thing you want to make sure, you can stretch the dough too. I know people don't do that in movies too much or like on shows, but like you can literally stretch it this way. And get it more in that
so like it's kind of like thick.
So you can use your hands. You could also use this rolling pin if you needed to,
which I got at Marshall's.
Erin might need to a little bit. It's
I'm
just
not a
really kind of harder to get that nice circle with the rolling pin because obviously you're going in certain directions. The spinning is going to get you a really pretty circle pizza. The rolling motion.
Hers is very nice.
That rolling motion, like without the hand on it, obviously you're going around the edges. That's really pretty.
I'm proud of mine though for my first time. Like I'm pretty
good.
It's not a perfect circle like Kylie's, but it's good.
You know, if you wanted to measure and make sure you had an 18, 12 inch, whatever inch pizza you're going for, you could do that. If
you're an engineer and you just want to get into the technicals.
Okay. So we never actually used this, which, I didn't know if we were going to use it or not. If you need a little help. So also one thing, if your dough is constricting, like you're rolling it out and it's just like snapping back together.
Stretching back. Okay.
Yeah. So you would like roll it out, but it would just kind of like snap back together. You probably need to rest it a little bit longer so that those proteins aren't quite so tight. So I'm going to scoop mine to my edge.
So I did a dumpling class one time, not with you, but like with a company, but it was frozen dough, and mine they're like, okay, and it should be this big, and like mine, I would roll it and it kept snapping back. It just needed to, I
had to rest.
I didn't thaw it out quick enough, right?
Probably.
Okay.
Gotcha. So we have our dough. We're going to get our pans over here, and we're actually going to put, whatever we put on the pizza, we're going to do it in the pan, because unless you're on a pizza pile, it's not going to come off and move very well. Okay, so I'm going to do that. You move yours over a little bit.
Okay.
And our pans are hot, so I'm going to try not to burn myself.
Yeah. We're going to use our trivets.
We might use 2.
Slash, it's,
I don't want to melt the table. Please don't melt the table.
Oh my gosh. Could you imagine?
Yeah, that's why I don't want to melt the table. I've melted many of things.
So the 2 toppings we're going to do, one of them, very classic, is tomato. I do a vodka sauce because Whole Foods vodka sauce is very good.
You gotta move yours over a little bit.
But then also, I was kind of I had friends that started getting into making pizzas, and I would just bring over random stuff I had at my house. And one day I had pesto and goat cheese and prosciutto, and I was like, that'll be excellent. Like, I'll do that. So that's one pizza we're gonna make, and then Kylie's gonna make the very traditional vodka mozzarella vodka sauce.
I don't know if vodka is really traditional. But
It's vodka sauce. They didn't have. So they had a plum sauce and they had a vodka sauce pre-made. And Whole Foods is very good pre-made. And I didn't want like a whole jar because I wasn't gonna eat it. So.
Now I could move this without messing up my dough too much, but I'm gonna show you a trick.
Okay.
So if you have a rolling pin, they're really helpful for moving doughs or things that you've already done. So roll your dough onto that pin.
Oh, okay.
And then you've got it. It's not gonna move, and you're gonna roll it right onto the pan. And oh my gosh, our dough is so big.
This is how I see people do fondant on baking.
Yes, so fondant would work like pretty much the same way. We're gonna have so much crust.
So mine is pretty big, but I also have
I gave you a deeper one, a deeper pan.
Okay, so
this is also
I'm
like
gonna take it and roll it.
You really could have done 3 pizzas here. You gotta, yeah, we're just gonna go in there.
I messed up.
So, this is why I gave Erin the deep dish.
Thank you.
Dish. She's gonna make a pizza pie.
I'm gonna make a pie.
Okay.
It's all good.
It's fine.
Everything's fine.
So, if your pan is hot, don't grab the handle. You're gonna do this.
Also that.
It happens.
My last video that you'll see before I post this one, I do burn myself. And it's real fun.
Now I could go and cut the excess off. It's kind of sad because, like, obviously we made all this pizza dough. It's okay. But sad. We should have made 3. We'll make pizza rolls or something.
Yeah. We're not gonna waste this.
Okay.
We'll make a thing.
We're not going to touch yours because it's actually in the pan. Okay, so I want to go ahead, even though I'm making a more traditional pizza. Erin doesn't have a pastry brush.
And Kylie added that to my list.
And I added it to the list.
Of things I need.
I'm actually going to take a piece of a little paper towel, like not cheap paper towel, but one that's like not going to shred up. And I don't mean to diss anybody, but if you have cheaper paper towels, it may not work as well. You may get paper towel on your crust, and I'm just trying to warn you.
These are Viva. They're nice.
But I'm just gonna dip it in that garlic oil, and I'm gonna brush. I'm gonna brush my pizza.
That's a good idea. Okay.
Dab it. I may need to dab it.
So this garlic oil is so freaking good.
Oh, by the way, I put oil on the pan so that we would have a crispy crust.
Yeah. So my cast irons are pretty well-ish taken care of. I say that because I'm not a professional cook. I take care of them as I was told by my southern grandmas.
Which is usually right.
So they're pretty well taken care of.
I'm gonna continue to use this because I don't want to waste.
You know, there's a whole way to take care of them that I'm not going to get into here because I don't want to be that annoying person. But,
so I'm going to start with our more traditional, which is not true. This is not red sauce. Obviously, it's vodka sauce.
It's not. I love vodka sauce, and it's what they had. That was fresh.
And I'm going to go ahead and take my same. Just kind of spread it out. Did you see that? I grabbed the handle.
Is it hot?
It's warm.
It's not too bad. You gotta be careful. Don't want to burn yourself.
Well, we're doing a video, so like it's not straight out of the oven, but they are warm.
Yeah.
I was worried that since we are using cast iron, that it would take a bit for the cast iron to warm up and it wouldn't be like ready.
To be fair,
Okay.
they cool down pretty quickly.
Alright, so I got my vodka sauce on. I don't like as much crust. If you're like a crust person, like go ahead and put that garlic oil all over your crust and like give you a nice crust. I go pretty much to the edge.
So mine will have a nice crust. Kylie's will be kind of more of a flatbread. So this is Le Grand Tower Plants. It's sold at Whole Foods. It is one of my favorite pestos that I don't make myself. Pesto is super easy to make yourself though if you want to. For sake of time in the video,
I can use a blender.
yeah, the toppings we got were pre-made. But pesto is pretty easy. It's olive oil, basil, Parmesan, and pine nuts, salt and pepper.
Pine nuts,
Yeah.
salt and pepper. You
Yeah.
throw other stuff in there like basil.
You can throw other things in there. I've watched cooking shows and they're like, oh, this is a zucchini pesto. This is a whatever pesto. Like, but this is a very classic basil.
Oh, cheese. That's good cheese. Good mops.
They're at Whole Foods. I went to Whole Foods for this, y'all.
So guys, I would recommend if you're doing this in your oven or your pizza pan or whatever, don't overdo it on the cheese. Like, I know we all love cheese, but that cheese is gonna melt and it's gonna cover nicely. So if you still see some sauce under the cheese, like, it's okay. You can see a little sauce.
Well, and also you don't want the cheese to mask the flavors of everything else, right?
You got some good stuff going on there. You don't
Yeah.
have to cover it in cheese. We're gonna do pepperonis. Now for me, like, this whole pizza could be covered in pepperonis, but I'm gonna be more traditional here and put some space in between the pepperonis.
So, and I'm doing pesto and goat cheese. I was gonna get
I love
ricotta,
goat
but they
cheese.
didn't have fresh ricotta, which was kind
Goat
of sad.
cheese is the ice cream of cheeses.
Oh my god, it's so good. I love ricotta on pizza. Like, it's so good, like homemade pizza, but they just didn't have ricotta today when I was at the store.
You know, I think I'm gonna cheat. Like, the pepperonis you got are really, they smell
They're
really
big.
good, but they're huge. So one thing you can do if you're getting pepperonis like this, or you get them from like the, you know, the meat counter, I'm gonna grab the cutting board and I'm gonna stack them and I'm gonna slice them. That just makes it a little bit more palatable because you're not, you know, biting into this huge pepperoni. It kind of comes away a little bit easier. So I'm gonna do that. You continue with yours.
Yeah, and that's totally fair. If you're making your pizza for a party, you don't want your guests to like bite and have to slide something off, you know? So the pepperoni I got, it was the only pepperoni they really had at the store. So, but you can totally cut them down, which is what Kylie's about to do. So I'm gonna start cutting.
Yeah, because really if you know, you made this pizza, you'd have 5 slices. You'd have like one big pepperoni for each slice. But I'm just gonna go ahead and slice them up. I like a really, you know, sliced. And we're gonna sprinkle it on there. And we're gonna get pepperoni in every bite.
Yeah. So I'm kind of taking this log of goat cheese that I have. And instead of, you can do the crumbled if you want. The crumbled though, kind of like shredded, pre-shredded cheese. It has chemicals in it that keeps it from clumping. So the freshest you're gonna get is its kind of most raw form. So that's why I like the crumble or the log of goat cheese, and you can crumble it yourself. So it's a little sticky and stuff, but it'll be good. It melts so well.
Cheese. I could eat that like
Ugh.
whole log. All right,
No.
that looks better. I like this pizza better.
I started doing at events that I have to go to, and I have to bring like a.
That's good.
Oh right.
With some Whole Foods vodka sauce. Yeah.
So good. Events that I have to bring appetizers to, I do this goat cheese balls. So I'll do goat cheese with herbs, and then I'll coat it in cooked bacon crumbles.
Oh wait, you brought that to one of my parties.
Yeah, I brought it to several
good.
parties.
Yeah.
It's so good and so easy.
Can't touch anything. I licked my hands. I'm gonna go wash them.
But I have a friend, her brother was in the military, and he goes, oh, I hate goat cheese, whatever. And then he's like, oh, these cream cheese balls are so good. And like, literally, I think it was an hour later, I had some more wine, and I was like, it's actually goat cheese. He was like, really? And I was like, yeah, sorry. And he was like, oh, okay, it was actually good. So if you get the, if you like goat cheese, or you're unsure if you like goat cheese, doing the goat cheese and you mix it with herbs like basil and sage and thyme. And then you roll it into balls, and then you put, you cook bacon, kind of crumble it up, and you roll those balls over the crumbled bacon. I mean, it hits at parties for sure.
Okay, so I cranked the oven up to 400 degrees. That's what I like to make my pizza at. I don't really know how Erin's oven is. It's electric, like.
It gets really hot really quick. I mean, that's the one issue with
electric is like, though I can do induction, I can do gas. Electric kills me every time, so hopefully it doesn't kill me this time.
I love my oven. I mean, it's nice and new and everything, but it is, because I have to use electric because of where I live in a condo, that's everything is like preset. But yeah, it has to be electric, and this one gets so hot. If you watch my other videos, I'll just be like, I don't know what the temperature should be, because like...
Are you ready?
Let me put one more piece of prosciutto on here, and I'll be ready. But yeah, like, I'll be like, I don't know what the temperature should actually be, because mine just gets so hot so quickly that I put it on low or medium low, and I'm sure it's supposed to be on like medium high or high, but mine just gets so hot. So, okay. This looks like a pie.
Okay.
I'm sure it'll be good, and this is ready.
Should we take a picture?
Yes.
Pre-picture. This one, our pizza pie, is gonna go a little longer.
Probably. It's like a deep dish, it's Chicago style. Okay, so we have this leftover dough though. What are we gonna do with this so we don't waste it?
Let's see what we can do. So the one thing we need to be careful of is like it's all separate pieces. We've like rolled it in flour and stuff. So the more you try and mesh it together, sometimes the worse that works.
Oh,
so
sure.
let's see what we can get without.
And we still have plenty of sauces. So we still have pesto, we have the vodka sauce, we have this confit garlic, we have...
Parmesan?
Yeah, it's Parmesan. Straight
Parmesan sticks.
Yeah.
You wanna make Parmesan sticks?
Yeah, that'll be good.
Okay. So we're just gonna take this ugly excess dough. I'm obsessed with this garlic sauce, so we're going to...
Which I actually... There's garlic pieces in there if you want to use that too.
Do that. Let's do this first. I'm not gonna go too thin. I'm gonna dab it with the garlic oil. Love that, love that. We made a mess of your table here. I swear when I work, like at work, I'm much cleaner than this.
We're at my
house,
get
a couple.
And they're very soft. So the recipe for this is 2 cups of olive oil. You put it in a saucepan and you put 20 to 30 cloves and peeled. And you put it on low and you just let it go for about 45 minutes. Definitely check in on it, keep an eye on it. So like I keep saying, my stovetop gets really hot, so.
If you have a sous vide machine, it works really well.
Ooh, that would be good. But
so
yeah.
We should do 1 a week.
Oh, that'd be so fun. But I have to kind of like watch mine and make sure it doesn't like get too hot. So last week, and you'll see on the video, I almost burnt my house down because I turned up accidentally the garlic confit that I was doing instead of the chicken. And we almost had an oil fire, which would have been really fun.
Yeah, okay, so we don't have a cast iron skillet right now, so when those pizza's gonna come out.
We do.
We do?
There's another one in there.
I thought it was dirty.
It's not dirty, it's just like not seasoned well. I have one skillet, it's just like not seasoned very well.
So this is our, not in actual shape. Garlic, I took the garlic clove out of there, I kind of chopped it up and mushed it all over the whole thing. I put Parmesan on top. We're gonna bake this off until it's crispy, and when it comes out, I'm gonna slice it into sticks, and we're gonna have cheesy bread.
It'll be good.
Cheesy bread.
And when you do this garlic confit, it makes the cloves really soft. So if you want to do garlic bread, this garlic stick thing, you can literally take it out with a knife and brush it and spread it like butter. I mean, it's really, really good.
Alright, I'm gonna put this in the oven. We're gonna come back with some finished pizzas.
Yay! I'm so excited. Oh, I was just starting it so we would be like, oh my god, look at the pizza.
It was really helpful in culinary school when you would ask a chef, like, well, how long does this cook for? Especially in like baking and pastry classes, because they would just look at you and be like, it's done when it's done.
And you realize that's not helpful.
That's not helpful. And it's all about like experience and knowing like when something is done. It's the most unhelpful thing somebody can say to you, but like
because
you
want like it's done in
I
10
need like
minutes.
15 minutes. Like what am I looking? Or at least like does it have brown spots on it? Like what?
Like something
signifies it being done.
So what I give it to you.
It's done when it's done.
So helpful. It smells good. My dad always says, he's like, when you start smelling it, like, go check on it, because
it's so close.
It's close. So we can smell the pepperoni just, it smells so good. It smells good in here right now.
The little toasty bits.
I love the toasty bits. Like the caramelized, like just burnt.
Yes.
Oh, so good. So good.
It's gotta be more than melted. It has to be like little toasty bits on top.
Yeah. I'm so excited. Coco is excited too, but.
Yes? Yes.
Yes! Oh my god, that looks so good!
Okay, first pizza is my pizza because I got done faster.
Yours was flatter, but it looks, oh my gosh, it looks so good. Here, I'm gonna take a couple of photos because I'm that person. So, y'all can deal with it.
As she's taking photos, do you have a pizza cutter?
No. I have a chef's knife.
Do y'all see this list?
It's gonna get longer every time we cook.
Pizza cutter. Yeah, of course you can use a chef knife.
Which I
with
have
the small
that.
pizza, it's super easy. I just would not recommend like cutting it in the cast iron. We'll pop it off onto a cutting board. Since it's a small pizza, it'll be really easy. I say that, but
Which,
that cutting board I got out to do just that thing.
and I dropped it on the floor.
Dropped it on the floor.
Yeah. So.
I think there's another cutting board over here.
Yes,
we can
there
use.
is. Let me get it.
Alright, here's a cutting board. If you have like cook's hands, and I'm not saying only chefs have these hands, but you know, if you can handle a little heat, you can probably just pop this out.
Not me. I would not.
I generally tell my students, like, just because I touch something doesn't mean you should touch something, because I've been doing this a while.
But, y'all, look at this pizza. It looks so freaking good. I'm so excited. Checking on the next one. It needs a little more time. It looks still pretty raw. But on that cast iron that we just took this pizza out of, we're gonna take that flat garlic bread that we're making, pop it in the oven. So that should cook a little more quickly than what we did originally with the pizza. Oh, hi, Coco. Coco's like, I see y'all eating. I'm so excited. And then I have a chef's knife and the.
Oh yeah. I was like, where is it?
Okay. Yeah. Big knife. Okay, so I don't have a pizza cutter. Kylie put it on my list. But I'm just gonna start.
Oh, sweet summer child.
What? Am I not cutting right? I'm not cutting right.
It's not that you're not cutting right. It just seems like you choose the most difficult route.
Well, how do you do it?
So when you were doing it, like, yes, generally when you have a chef knife, back here is like the most force. But you have all of this blade here to do things with. So like you did like 4 sections or 3 sections.
Yeah.
So like the blade goes all the way to the tip. So you only really need to use 2.
Oh, okay.
For one. And then when you have a nice line, you can just go from the center
Okay.
and do that. And it wasn't like per se wrong.
You're like, that's just not how I would do it.
It's just not how I would do it. Okay, so I got a piece of pizza. You can have that piece of
I'm
pizza.
gonna get this piece.
I'm gonna sit down so you can see the top of my head.
What's that?
I've been waiting for pizza. And we have Parmesan right here. Some Parmesan. What is this? Parmesan Classics? Sartori?
I don't know. I get it from HEB. It's grated. I'm so excited. Okay, let's try this.
Hot.
Oh, good.
It's so hot. It's really hot. Oh my god. Okay, it's good. It's really good. The pizza crust cooked all the way through.
It's very cheesy.
It's very cheesy, because I love cheese. There's pepperoni in every bite.
The crust is really good.
It's definitely thicker
Mm-hmm.
than what you would get like to go,
Yeah.
but I like it like that. I like it like that. I like bread. I like some bread with my pizza.
It's a good. I like the garlic oil that we put on top of it because you can kind of taste it. It's subtle, but you can taste it.
I could go for, and I think we talked too long. Not that we talked too long, but like the cast iron skillet when we put the dough in wasn't as hot as like when we first did it. I could do it like a little crispier on the bottom, but like that's not to say that like it's not cooked down there and perfectly fine.
Okay.
One good point: don't put too much flour on your bread, on your pizza dough, because the bottom, it's gonna like, unless you brush it off, it will hold on to that flour, and then that hits the bottom of your tongue. So a lot of times you'll just get like that like flour taste first. So you can you can also just like brush it off or just not have that much, whatever.
No, just the crust is like, you can't see it, but like, it's really good. It looks, I mean, it's nice and fluffy. It's almost like bread. And that's okay.
We definitely had a thicker crust.
It's good. I like it. It's like a hand tossed.
We could have easily made 3 pizzas of the same size.
Yeah. Whatever. So good. And the vodka sauce was good.
Yeah, it holds up.
Yeah. It's not like a heavy tomato sauce.
Don't put too much sauce on. It drips off.
Mm-hmm.
We just need enough. If you want extra sauce, put it on the side for dipping.
That's a good
You
point.
can always warm it up on the stove. That's where my biggest messes come in, is like I put way too much sauce on it and it's like bubbling off the pan.
I did a guy that liked cheeseburger pizza.
Okay.
And it was real weird because it was literally just like cheddar cheese, hamburger, and jalapenos. And
I mean,
pickles.
not my thing, but
It tasted good, but it was weird. I was like,
you just have a burger.
it was burger. I was like, just get a burger, dude. Like, no, this is really good. Let's see. Do you think our next one is done?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
Because the crust is even bigger on that one. And it went in like 5 minutes after. But you know what? We got this whole pizza here to play with.
We're just gonna eat it and talk
I'm
and
so
have fun.
hungry.
Kylie
It
came
took us
over.
a while.
You came over at like what, 4:30?
I knew it was going to take us a while though.
Imagine what Danishes were gonna be.
Oh, we wouldn't have finished them. We would
Yeah.
have been been like, I'll see you on Sunday to finish these up. It was only when we were talking last night that I was like, you know, maybe
It's
not
not.
really a one-day project, like, unless we want to start early. There's refrigerating and proofing and butter.
We have to like laminate the dough, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that takes a while. But you don't think so when you watch the cooking show. Coco Bear, you're okay. We're eating. She's very jealous. She's like right down there.
You just fold sheets of butter in between the dough. It takes a while. You know, if you don't want to like rip it up
No.
to pieces. It's very temperature sensitive. Or can be.
Come here. Come here. Come here. Well, you can get on the bench if you want to.
Come on, Coco, you're making us look bad.
I know.
Okay.
I swear, I cuddle with her all day. Like,
She like whines like you're abusing her.
I know. Oh. I got you. I got you. I know. I'm like,
Yeah.
stop lying to these people. Like, you're very spoiled. Yeah, you're
Came
very,
over at 4:30.
very spoiled.
9:30?
Mm-hmm.
It's 9:30. Which I should have known, obviously, like, dough takes a while.
Are you happy now? You're up here.
She'd be like, I'd be happier with pizza.
She's like, I'm one of the ladies. I'm so happy. It's so good though.
Mm-hmm. Not bad. Pretty good.
I wonder how the other one's gonna turn out.
I better go check on it. I was so hungry. Yeah, I'll go check on that.
It's Coco. Say hi, Coco. Say hi. Oh my god.
Yep, it's done. Okay, let's get this away.
The crust is really good. Like, it's so good. Oh my god, that looks so good.
It's a pizza pie.
Oh my
You guys
god.
see this?
That
It's
looks so
literally
good.
a pie.
It looks so good though. Oh my god.
I'm not sure this is gonna come out of the
Probably not.
cast iron.
No, probably not.
It's really pie-like.
That's a pie. I made a pie. And it's bubbly in the center, so.
It smells so good.
Oh my god, it smells so
I love Chev.
good.
And
Prosciutto. I mean, how do you go wrong? It's goat cheese, prosciutto, pesto, and garlic oil.
I need some water. Okay.
It's so good.
Paper towel for the knife. My water.
I am gonna defer to you. I don't know how to cut this. I will take a photo.
I think we're just gonna cut this in the pan.
Oh, hello. Hello. This is mine. This is the one I made. It's so thick.
Very careful line of cutting through the crust and not like dulling up your knife.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
take it out while it's all one cohesive piece.
Seasoned cast iron.
Cast iron, man.
What a southern lady I am.
All of my cast iron is like, I've never bought a piece new. My mom gave me a piece that was my grandma's. My Uncle David gave me a piece that was my Papa Floyd's. And like, I literally cleaned them up. My dad sandblasted them gently with this like black sand or whatever it's called.
That's crazy.
And we re-seasoned them, and like they were all worked great. They're like all old watches.
So I got mine are new watches. My mom just got me like the set.
Yeah.
They came pre-seasoned, and I just like kept seasoning them every time I cook. So.
But if you ever see one in like a used, see one used somewhere, like you can totally clean them up with a little work, and it's very hot.
It's very hot. But yeah, like you can get one. I mean, my mom's cast iron she's had for years.
Right out of the pan.
So good. My mom she's had for years, and you know you just have to re-season it. You know, if it gets kind of sticky and gross.
Yes.
Can we help you? Coco loves prosciutto, I have found out, and that's what's on this pizza. So she's like, yes, please. This is definitely a Chicago deep dish.
There's a lot of crust here. So where there was not as much crust on my pizza, you could definitely use some dipping sauce here. Maybe like that garlic oil.
Ooh, that would be good. But let's see how it tastes. And it's good.
That's the crispy crust I wanted. Oh my gosh.
That is crunchy.
What, that is crunchy on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Soft in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Cheesy on top.
With goat cheese. So
With goat cheese.
You can't really go wrong, so.
Oh my gosh, that's it.
Perfect. And the prosciutto, when you put it on top, so I put like a layer of prosciutto, and then I put the goat cheese, and then put another layer of prosciutto. So that top layer gets like really crunchy too. So.
A lot of prosciutto here.
Oh my god.
It's so hot.
Our hot was good. Oh. Mm-hmm.
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 I think we have a winner.
Don't pull your pizza too early. Get a crispy bottom.
Trust the process.
It's done when it's done.
Exactly.
Also, there's an electric oven. I don't know how to use one of those.
It's an electric oven. It's not convection. It's not anything. It's straight up just electric. Like,
we put it on 400. It felt like it was 425 for what it was doing.
Oh.
Also, we put it on the top, so it's kind of like a little broil action going on.
Mm-hmm. So. You're okay. But yeah, it just depends on your oven and stuff, but this is, I mean, absolutely delicious.
I have a convection oven, and I also usually crank that down 25 degrees from the recipe.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. I might try that. What was that? Well, thank you for teaching me how to make pizza dough.
You got this?
I got it.
You gonna make pizza next one night? We're gonna try?
We'll try.
Good enough.
Alright, thank you for watching. I'm so excited. This was delicious, so I hope you try along. So